Bonjour, merci Eric. Ça me fait plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui avec vous. Malheureusement, j'aimerais moi être peut-être dans le fait dans la bâtisse en arrière de moi, et puis j'aimerais que vous autres vous seriez à Sudbury en train de travailler. C'est ça qui est notre but ultime, c'est que vous autres allez travailler. Thank you very much for being here, and I'd like to introduce some of my colleagues that are here today. First of all, Dave Christopherson from the NDP. Chris Charlton from Hamilton. Claude Gravelle from the Bloc Québécois. And Todd Russell from the Boise Bay area. Peter Julian was here a while ago, and there were some other MPs that were here a while ago, but unfortunately duty called, so they had to leave. So brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you to Parliament Hill. I hope that you're loud enough today that Tony Clement and Stephen Harper can hear you. They can pretend all they want that it's none of their concern, but it is their concern. Make no mistake about it. You are here in Ottawa because the law is a federal law, and the people responsible for its administration are supposed to be working in the building behind me. So I say to Stephen Harper today, fix the Investment Canada Act now. On April 28th, Parliament voted on a motion to strengthen the Canada Investment Act. Today, you are here to say to Prime Minister Harper, respect the will of Parliament and make those changes now. It's no accident that you've been on strike for 11 months. Strikes like this one happen because you are standing your ground, fighting to protect your gains that you've made and the gains your parents and the community leaders have made before you. This is a fight that goes beyond Sudbury. It affects all Canadian workers who are facing similar challenges from foreign entities who come here not understanding our culture and our priorities. We've heard from and received support from brothers and sisters across Canada, the United States, Brazil, and Europe. It's not always the fault of the foreign companies. It's also the fault of the federal government that approved these sales in the first place. And we have to put a stop to these kinds of takeovers that strip our natural resources from our land, send them elsewhere to be processed, and then leave with no care for what they've done. Our communities are living proof of this government and previous governments' failures to protect the interests of Canadian workers and their communities. The NDP is not against foreign ownership. I want to make that very clear. We're not against foreign ownership. Investment, but we are definitely opposed to what the kind of foreign takeovers that we have witnessed in our community in Greater Sudbury. What we've witnessed in Sudbury is not foreign ownership, it's foreign takeover. That's why the NDP caucus put forward my motion on foreign investment for debate and vote on April 28th as our Opposition Day motion. The motion called for the government to immediately protect the interests of Canadian workers, their communities, and the strategic and long-term interests of the Canadian economy by improving its reviewing of foreign takeovers that involve key Canadian resources, manufacturing, high-tech, potentially telecommunication companies. The NDP provided 3 specific ways in which the government could do this. Strengthen the Investment Canada Act by lowering the threshold for public review. Currently, the government is going in the opposite direction. It is raising that minimum threshold to $1 billion. Imagine selling a Canadian company worth $95 billion without a review. That is unacceptable. Second, the motion calls for public hearings in affected communities when a Canadian company is being sold. How unreasonable is it to allow affected workers in their communities to express their point of view before we allow a major Canadian company to be sold. I think that it is irresponsible. You don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think that it's unreasonable. You don't think it's unreasonable. And Canadians don't think it's unreasonable. So Stephen Harper, what are you waiting for? And finally, our motion called for the federal government to publish the reason for its decision to approve a takeover, as well as the conditions that a foreign company must meet in order to get federal approval. Wouldn't that be nice if we knew what the conditions Valley Inco bought Inco? This government is telling the world to help itself for our natural resources, our technology, and our intellectual property, and while they're at it, it's also signaling to them to not worry about these conditions of sale the federal government imposes, because the federal government won't pursue them even when they break their contract. So we brought forward a motion that sets out these 3 clear directives, and that motion passed. Our focus isn't only on foreign investment, I'm also working on a mining strategy for the party, and we will present this in due course. Friends, our motion wasn't just about Northern Ontario. It's about all of Canada. Every community, including our Northern and First Nation communities, must have a say in the development of their resources sector and on whether we should allow more foreign takeovers. Let's not forget that these resources belong to the people of Canada, and they will always belong to the people of Canada. And just to let you know that you're not alone, today while you were gearing up for this rally, I joined with community leaders from across Sudbury who met to find ways to move both sides back to the negotiating table. We ask you, Valley, Inco, and all community leaders for a 7-day moratorium in the lead up to next week's negotiations. I think that's fair as long as both sides respect it. Today, it's not just about your strike, it's about protecting our future. So raise your voices, brothers and sisters, and demand that this government protect your jobs, protect your fair wages and pensions, and protect our communities. I am with you all the way on this. We will not stop until you and all workers get the protection they deserve. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Claude. Merci, Claude.